Karen versus animals. So I've been looking for a cat for a while. After around 3 months of searching, I think I've found the right cat for me. At this pet store, you can go in and ask an employee to help you warm up to an animal. In my case, Agatha the cat. As I walk into the store, there are very few people. This is great as I won't have tons of people coming to watch me play with a cat. I walk over to the cats and signal an employee to come over. They ask me simple questions about allergies and experience. No allergies, 2 years of experience with cats. But after all that is done, they finally let Agatha out and she is immediately happy to be in my company. But this story is here for a reason. The employee has to go back to the front to ring someone up. There were only 2 employees and leaves me with the cat. After a few minutes, Karen steps onto the scene. Keep in mind, she has the haircut and is about 40 pounds overweight. She walks around the store and eventually notices me playing with Agatha. Karen, hey, you! Me, completely oblivious. Karen, ugh, quite loudly. Me slowly looks back. Well, you going to do anything? Oh, I think you should know that I don't respect elders. What I mean is that I treat everyone the same no matter what. I am a firm believer of the golden rule. Me, what do you want? Karen, wow, rude. Give me that cat. Me, first of all, I'm getting this cat. Second, do you grow up in the slums of McDonald's? And third, I don't work here. Karen, huh? How dare you disrespect me like that? Me, yeah, I'm going to go back to playing with my pet. I planned on getting her. Karen, I don't care. I want it. Stomps her food like a toddler. Me, sweet Jesus, you are immature. Karen, gimme. Reaches to take Agatha. Note the physical difference. 6 feet of height in my favor, 60 pounds in her favor, and a slender frame with lengthy wingspan and legs on me. I'm easily able to evade her efforts. Karen tries to rip the cat out of my hand. At this point, Agatha is trying to get out, and I think that any cat owner knows what is coming next. The cats in this store aren't declawed, so you do not want to make them mad. And Karen made her mad. Agatha starts jumping and pouncing on Karen while Karen falls to the ground. Karen is screaming and I call an employee over. Me and the employees are able to calm Agatha down and get her off Karen, but not before she beat Karen up pretty good. She was escorted out of the store while using enough curses and racial slurs to make a drunken sailor blush. I later bought Agatha and we have had a very good time together. Former boss seemed to have forgotten she fired me. So, some backstory here, because it's important. I used to work for a tech company based in the US, a small startup with a small team. From the interview pitch, it seemed perfect. I get to walk to work, it's in an industry I really like, music, and while the pay is way under my value, I get stock options and good benefits. Within the first month, things are okay, not amazing, but I'm doing my best to make the most of it. My tech guy is nice, and our HR finance guy is chill. The other two, well. The first warning sign is that they fight, childlessly I might add. If the guy, we'll call him Tim, doesn't know how to do something, he gets flustered and asks for help. First few times I didn't mind, then realized he was asking me to do all his work for him. That's not a great sign. Second warning sign, the chick, we'll call her Karen, because she is one, blows up constantly. She also asked me to do her work for her. Did I mention she is the head of the company? I had to help her out fill her own W-2. That should have sent alarm bells off. But whatever, she's young, maybe she's only ever worked on 1099 jobs, I don't know. Then the real issue starts to rear their ugly heads. Anytime Tim and Karen disagree, it's a full-scale fight. Neither of them are actually doing their own work, so it's usually down to, well, why isn't this perfect? And whoever is being accused just looks at me while the other goes, I'll do it myself. Then gives it back to me with little to no direction. This goes on for months. The fighting only gets worse and worse, and it's bizarre because it's not dissimilar to a lover's quarrel. That's when I realized that's what it is. these two are dating. They didn't disclose this to anyone, not to me, not to our staff, who was exhausted listening to them fight, and most shockingly, not to our investors, which is a huge no-no. Eventually, after months, I request to only work with HR guy and tech guy. To their protest, HR guy allows it, seeing that I'm pretty much going to quit otherwise. It starts out okay, but Karen keeps trying to overload our process with more of work she's supposed to be doing, still trying to get me to do it. Eventually, they hire he's treated like a glorified intern to do their shit for them. I hand over our master list of logins to him, delete the logins of my devices since I am not responsible for the channels associated anymore, and get on with my work. Keep this in mind for later. For a brief stint, things are okay, or at least I think they are, because I don't have to deal with Karen and Tim anymore. But oh man, was I wrong. Out of nowhere, Karen and Tim leave town, inform all of us that we need to move to this new city and that I will have to ship their shit to the new place since I'm the only one still in my city. HR guy was in vacation and tech guy is remote. I am furious. I less than politely say hell no. Sure enough, I don't have to convince them. COVID hits. Everyone had to work remote wherever they are now because flights aren't an option. I also refused to move their shit. I finally had it and started looking for a new position, but with COVID well on the way, I was screwed. It was this or unemployment. Sure enough, Karen starts ignoring processes and begins setting up calls at all hours that aren't productive and just waste time. For me, these calls are sometimes as late as 10 p.m. It's a mess. The final straw was when Karen and Tim angrily called me to request I do something, start fighting, forget I'm still on the phone, and start cussing each other out. I just sit there incredibly uncomfortable while they yell at each other. And out of nowhere, Tim calls her his future wife. Like, what the fuck, guys? Hang up. Now, I could have hung up, but since I was friends with the other staff, I relay what I've overheard and they inform me that they had no idea, and that's a big yikes. This eventually gets back to one of the investors who freaks. The big checks stop coming in. I wonder why. As COVID rages on, the company just burns through money. I can tell that things are going downhill and brace for impact. Sure enough, I get terminated. Everyone does. Now, day forward to today, out of nowhere, I get a call from Tim. They have misplaced several logins for their accounts. I direct them to the intern, and apparently he doesn't have them. I help them recover the logins because I'm not an ass. And Karen, learning nothing, asks if I can help with a project for free. I don't think I have ever been more happy to say, I don't work here, lady, in my life. Just to add some revenge salt, I give them my contractor rates, $50 an hour. I haven't heard back, but if I do, I'll update you. I may not work anywhere right now, but God am I glad I don't work in that hellhole anymore. Pulling your phone out when you're working is against company policy. Lady, I'm 14. A bit of context, this was back in January of this year. I had just turned 14. The funny thing is, my birthday is on January 1st. The amount of people with my birthday, you could probably count them on your hands. I think at this point I was 5'11" with a visible beard. I had people mistake me most of my time for a 16 or 17-year-old. Now, my birthday had just passed. My parents are not the best with presents, so they just gave me money. So I went on a weekend to chill with my friend. It was like 12 p.m. We went out to eat, and my friend started talking about how he wished he could get a PC. Now, me and him are close. I go to his house most days of the week, 3 to 4 times. Sometimes I stay over. We are basically brothers. I call his parents auntie and uncle. Same with him. He comes to my house, stays. We even have rooms in each other's houses. Now, he was born 4 days after me. I really wanted to get him something really nice. So he said, let's go chill at my house. So I call an Uber, not to his house. It was to PC World. We get halfway there and he clocks what is happening. He says this isn't the way to my house. I assure him that we are going to do something very fun. Then he sees PC World and he asks why are we here. I tell him it's an early birthday present. I had to give it to him early as I couldn't go on a school day, so I tell him, get anything you want. He goes mad. He tries to reject, but we all know how that turns out. So we are both in the shop and I recommend him something and tell him where it is. He goes to get it, then I hear a lady clearing her throat. I turn around and she asks me where something is. I say, I don't know. I then turn around assuming that was the end of that. She then starts ranting about how I need to follow company policy and not pull out my phone when talking to customers. The next thing she did shocked me. She lunged and grabbed my arm. Now, the human reaction is to push her off. Now, I'm 5'11" and she was around 5'5" at most, and she went flying into the PCs. There was a loud alarm that went off. One monitor fell on the floor and it smashed. Security came running to the scene, so did my friend. Now, my friend is a little bit scared of confrontation, so he didn't do anything. I think he was more scared than me. She was screaming about how I assaulted her and that I pulled my phone out. She said I worked there. However, the manager shut her down instantly. It was very funny. I think the police got called into the mayhem. They then both took our stories and started giving me dirty looks. They told me to call my parents, but I refused as I didn't want to drag them into it. But eventually the footage came and it was proven that she grabbed me first and I pushed her off. Eventually I had to give my name, but I was free to leave. The police did contact my parents. The good thing was the manager gave us 20% discount, so that was good.